In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, Agria Munson here from expatsportugal.com with a Good Morning Portugal live stream show and podcast. How are you this morning? Great show lined up for you this morning, actually. Portugal, the paradise. Author Karen Telling will be joining us from around 9 o'clock. And at 9:30, let me get these names right. We have Sigrid Suder, Cristina Coutinho, I beg your pardon, and Wendy Freeman will be joining us to look at changing the way we trade, possibly, as the cost of living goes up. And as maybe you could say the economic model that we've been using for the last few decades seems to be stalling and struggling a little bit. Some improvements, some evolution might be required. And they're here to talk about that, about swapping time, swapping skills, and trading in a different way. So that from 9:30. How are you this morning? Got a treat for you. I have a very beautiful video to share with you from Louise, keen correspondent of the Gardening Q&A on a Monday evening. We don't have one next Monday, so don't get too excited, but every other Monday of the month, second, third, fourth, and if there's a fifth, we have a gardening Q&A under the leadership of head gardener Lee McGrady. Good show last night, really, really good. Oh, yeah, I think we should just give a moment of respect to Matty's aloe vera that needs some healing vibes. This picture just wouldn't go away last night. It kept popping up from the gardening Q&A yesterday. So join us if you want to grow more food as well. Our Consumer Tuesday, cost of living rising. Why not grow some of your own food? We talk about how to do that on a Monday evening. A lovely photo in while we're here looking at pictures. Anna, thank you so much. The view from the balcony. Look at that sunset down there in Villarreal, Sant Antonio. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Keep those coming. Send your photos in. 590. No, sorry, I missed a bit out there. 913-590-303 00351. The country code for Portugal, of course. If you're going to send something in. I still haven't had a WhatsApp voice message from anyone in America who's tuning in later on in the day. How was your Memorial Day? Good show last night, the kind of political podcast we did last night for the first time. And it was very, very good. Thank you to Andy Tagavo and to the prof yesterday evening. What a lovely night. Thank you for last night, guys. Okay, Baldylocks Tony is in. I see James is in. T-Duck is in. Who else? Baddy here as well. And the prof. My goodness, prof, you're good to us. And Moaz as well. Let's see what is being said. Bon dia, alegria, gumbas from the T-Duck. And some Portuguese sayings. Love these. Amar say, oh, yes, I interrupted myself. I've got a treat for you. Louise, keen correspondent Louise from the Gardening Show, has created a beautiful Madeiran video, a brief trip there, 4 days, I think, and took a load of photos and put them together for us in a slideshow. And it's very beautiful. It's very touching. It really moved me to watch it last night on the Gardening Show. So I'll watch it again this morning with you, if that's all right. Amarse, Carapão de Corrida, racing like a mackerel. That guy, he's racing like a mackerel. Someone who thinks he's a big shot, but really nobody. Oh, I'm sure he's a big shot to somebody, probably his mum. Estás a meter agua, you're letting water in. You're making a fool of yourself. Can you imagine having that whisper to you in your ear while you think you're doing really well in life? Estás a meter agua. And these are great, T-Duck. Now, é a minha praia. It's not my beach. That's not my beach, not my circus, not my monkeys, that kind of thing. Oh, monkeys, don't say that. And anonymous quotes then. While we're about it, what's a queen without her king? Well, historically speaking, more powerful. And I say, with these anonymous quotes, we try and guess who said these. Who would have said that without a queen What's a queen without her king? Well, historically speaking, more powerful. And I sat quietly with my own thoughts today. Remind me never to do that again. Now, that could be any number of my friends. When I said that I cleaned my room, I just meant I made a path from the doorway to my bed. Yes, we've all been there, haven't we? Unless we read Jordan Peterson, who told us to tidy our rooms. Hola, bon dia, gria, a todos de pomba, morning, Matty, and the aloe vera plant. Has your aloe vera plant got a name, I wonder? Can we give this... Well, Vera, I guess, will be one name for this somewhat shocked plant. That's the diagnosis that the head gardener gave. Some while locked in a trailer wasn't too good for this potentially beautiful plant. The potential's in there. And yes, just for a moment, if you will send Reiki vibes, if you're adequately trained to do so, don't be chucking those Reiki vibes around willy-nilly, but send them to this plant. So lots of love to you, Matty, and your aloe vera plant. Let's give her a name, shall we? Him, her. Oh, today in Portuguese history. That's fantastic. James is in, everyone. Bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz terça a todos. A little bit quiet in the room this morning. Is it because you had really busy weekends? It was quite a lively show yesterday. I think Tuesday is our kind of lull day, isn't it? Nothing wrong with that. Take it easy. And chatting about Another Day in Paradise with Karen Telling. I'll give you a few of those reviews of that lovely book. Well, she's written a couple of books. That, I believe, is the first Another Day in Paradise. If you want to have a quick look yourself, buy a nice book about Portugal. The link, the Amazon link, I'm sure other suppliers are available. But for ease of reference for the time being, the Amazon link going into the comments there for Karen Telling's book. Have a little bit of more of a look at those before she arrives in just a moment. And Bon Dia Imigrantes, as well as a Feliz Terça from James, a Bon Dia Imigrantes from the Prof. And the Will Rogers quote of the day to get us going with a bit of inspiration. The road to success is dotted with many tempting parking spaces. It is, isn't it? I'll just pull in for a little snooze, wake up, and then not. Do you ever do that? I love having I like having I was going to say in the car, I like having a snooze generally. And one of my favorite things, which I think other people find terrifying, is this thing of waking up and not knowing where you are. I really like that. Others don't. And I think eschew the snooze on that basis. But yeah, the road to success dotted with many tempting parking spaces. I have been tempted to pull over, have a snooze, wake up and not know for a moment, for a brief fleeting moment, not know where I am. And more to the point, not even know who I am. Today in Portuguese history, should we do that now? Bit of footy. Okay, let's do it now. Let's have a look at Portuguese history, courtesy of the Prof. Where's my music? Oh, there it is. Doobity bob. Yes! See what I did there? I don't know what I did. I've been messing about, and it plays twice, doesn't it? It did that yesterday. But anyway, can't get enough of a good thing, can you there? The doo-wop national anthem. Thank you, Warren, for that. And today in Portuguese history then, from the Prof, 1961, look at that. Benfica win the first European Cup by beating Barcelona 3-2. In fact, Benfica become the first winner not called Real Madrid. That's brilliant. Thank you very much, Prof. Excellent stuff. Moaz is in. Bon dia, Carl y a todos. How you doing, Moaz? Paddy, how are you? Bon dia, Alegria. And Owen, bon dia, folks. How you doing there, Owen? Any more to say? Have we had many people sign up for the barbecue filming? I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Nice early start on the 12th of June. Early by local standards, right? 11 o'clock in the barbecue area in Leiria. If there's anything else you want to say about that, Owen, do feel free to do so in the chat this morning. And Tony Bordylocks is in. Hola, Gumpers. Tony, you're amazing. Francis, bon dia, alegria a todos. Hope you're all well. How's it going for you, Francis? Is it a little bit warmer where you are in Cape Town this morning? And Moaz to the Prof, you were amazing last night. Your views were based on good research and logic and not emotions and fear. Oh, I feel slightly hurt that none of the rest of us got as good a review as that. Are we sure though that there wasn't any emotion in there for the prof? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I've got the prof down as he is an emotional fella. He's a Latin lover, and he is a good mix of those things, I think, as well. But yes, logic and good research do come to the fore with the prof, who I'm sure prides himself on that fact. But it was great. Yeah, really good last night. Lee McGrady, good morning, people. Having probably a coffee and a smoke before the day really kicks in. Although, no, actually, 8:41, he's probably been working for 3 hours already. How you doing this morning, Lee? Great show last night, the gardening show. And Stephen as well. How you doing? Bon dia to you, Stephen. And Paul's in too, Paul Williams. Hola, bon dia. It's buying things for the new pool sort of day. It's Consumer Tuesday. Of course it is. I got any good tips for pool supplies? Not that I've got one myself, but others do in this community, don't they? Anyone got a saltwater pool or an ozone? Is it ozone? Anyone got an alternative kind of pool? A cleansing system or ecosystem, or one of those natural pools? All very interesting. We've never really talked about swimming pools here on the Good Morning Portugal show, or the Good Morning Portugal show. We could do a special on swimming pools just to honor that terrible wordplay. Bon dia from Galadriel. Hello, Galadriel. Good to have you here this morning. Thank you for dropping in. And Victoria as well. Bon dia, kids, from a sunny Praia de Rocha. And you're reminding me, is Jack Polly in here? Yes, go on, James. Is Jack Polly in? Because yesterday we floated the idea of the Portimao meetup. Look at that. That is a very generous bowl of sangria there. I think that's all for Jack. That's not to be shared there, although big enough to be. Portimao meetup, if you're interested in that, drop me a line, the number scrolling across the screen, and we'll connect you up with the people who want to make that happen. The Portimao meetup, the second. We're over 100 in the Silver Coast meetup as of yesterday, and a second, and I'm sure very successful meetup with the likes of Victoria and Frank involved, and Jack, of course. It's going to be good fun at the Portimao meetup. Godscore Turner, Coach Turner will be wanting to go to that when he visits the Algarve, I'm sure. He knows all of those folks. You know, Jack and Frank and Victoria, of course, Coach Turner, with a tip of the day this morning: heel raises. Help your calves and ankles. And it also looks nice and jaunty as well, doesn't it? To swivel the heel up into the air. Hello, sailor. Hello, heel raises help your calves and ankles. Stand on the edge of a step. Careful now. And let your heels lower slowly. Make sure you got a banister as well, some of you. Then raise up as far as you can. Repeat 10 times as you improve. Try on one leg. My goodness. Okay, we might need a video. I think we got a video of that, Coach Turner, to illustrate that for people. And that, at least you can say you got your leg over as well if you try that at home. Pam Smith is in as well. Good morning, dear. Didn't make it yesterday. Did you miss anything? Oh my God, I don't know where to begin, Pam. Watch the replay. We can't do it justice. I was thinking 90 minutes. It's a football match worth, isn't it, of time we spend together? And for that, I appreciate you greatly. Anyone who wants to spend 90 minutes every weekday morning with me, God bless you. Hola, bon dia todos. Chaos. I thought that was the Portuguese place called Chãos, which will feature later on after 9:30. There is actually a place called Chãos. I think there's probably quite a few little villages called Chãos here in Portugal. And the one near Tomar, it was a dad joke for me with the kids in the car as we drove towards Chãos. Downhill, I would say, kids, we're literally descending into chaos here. Oh, God, is he doing that again? As flights are cancelled all over the place and passport offices are not getting passports out fast enough. Mayhem! I say again, mayhem! Says, and like sympathy and love to anyone trying to fly out of UK at the moment. I don't think it's the only place in Europe to be struggling with. I think Lisbon Airport had its fair share of problems recently, hearing of Amsterdam problems as well. The golden age of flying. What happened? What happened to us? So, Chris, I'm sorry that your plans were changed rather abruptly, I think, at the hands of EasyJet. And I hope you've made other and similarly enjoyable plans for the weekend. I love me a good short midday snooze. We could talk about snoozing habits. So thank you, James, for that, letting us into. Don't be ringing James up or sending him WhatsApp messages, please, between 12 and 2, possibly. Almost drops off there. Just thinking about it. Is anyone snoozing at the moment? What can we do to wake them up? Let's have a look. Let's imagine some people will have just dropped back off. Here we go. Let's try this on them. That's the Jenny B, the Jenny B bleep there, ready for her next appearance. But that will have woken anyone up who's slipped into a slumber this morning. Pepa, bon dia, Gumpers. Great to have your company on the gardening Q&A yesterday. And thank you for being here this morning, Pips. And I used to work for a company that made UV water treatment equipment. I always wonder why more don't use this non-chemical system for pools. Excellent, Pam. For those that might need a link to that, please feel free to share that. So that's a really good, on Consumer Tuesday, a pool maintenance tip there, UV water treatment systems, very good. And yeah, I wonder why. It's probably habit, isn't it? Like so many things. And we'll probably touch upon this again after 9:30 when we're talking about alternative ways to trade with each other. We're very habitual, aren't we, us human beings? And we might not do the right or best thing. We do what we've always done, don't we? And we get what we've always got, of course, I think, as Andy was saying yesterday evening. You need two flames burning in the human heart, the flame of anger against injustice and the flame of hope you can build a better world. Tony Benn, a politician, I think, for whom many people, if they didn't agree with his views, admired him as a person. And I saw him speak, would you believe, alongside Arthur Scargill in a cold market square in Chesterfield back in the day when there was. I don't know I mean, it wasn't the miners' strikes of the UK in the heat, the total heat of that situation in the 80s. It was later, I think, when some of the last pits were being shut down. And yeah, I guess it's quite something, isn't it, to be able to say you've seen Arthur Scargill and Tony Benn speaking alongside each other, which I did. You'd be proud of me, Prof. I have a little 15 by 5 meter saltwater pool. They're absolutely fantastic. Off for a dip in a while. Nice one. So saltwater, UV coming up this morning. And I used to live in Chãos. I used to live in chaos, but I made a path from the bed to the door to link up some of the correspondence this morning. Bon dia, Brian. How are you? You make me laugh, Brian. I have got, and maybe we'll do this at the end of the show, but I did ask Brian if he would video his vertical rotisserie kebab maker, and he did, and he's called it the meaty meditation. And it's true. Watching, I think I'll stick that on at the end of the show, if I may. Let me start downloading that now so that we've definitely got that. I've lost it, Brian. I don't know what's happened here. Oh no, we've got it now. The meaty meditation. If you'd like to watch a doner kebab slowly rotating, then do that at the end of the show. If you need to sort of relaxation as a way of preparing for your afternoon snooze, then we've got that. There's the sound effect. Wow, it makes quite a reassuring sound, doesn't it, as it goes around? It's actually quite fast, Brian, but we'll do that at the end of the show. Vegans look away at the end of the show, if you will. Working, so may have to disappear quick, lol. Yeah, if somebody comes in the room, right, or you get a keystroke measurement. Why does he keep typing in "Good morning, Portugal"? He's supposed to be at work. No rank chlorine smell or horrid skin. Your skin, you're so worth it, Pete. You take 2 bottles into the swimming pool. No, your skin feels softer, easier to float. Oh yeah, in the salt water, of course. And ours is entirely run off the sun. Isn't that great? And he has got the tablets in there. If you wee in there, it does go purple as well. I think that's true to say. Maybe. Need help of the hive mind. Here we go. On Consumer Tuesday here on the Good Morning Portugal show. There's a lot of people lurking and not talking. That's fine, but it's slightly unnerving. The ratio of correspondence to people who we know are watching is interesting this morning. I think it is a chill out Tuesday, isn't it? We've got Feel Good Friday and Chill Out Tuesday. We know it's going to get busy. Heronius Maximus is with us tomorrow. Michael Heron. Oh, what was the word for heron again? Not grush. What was it? Miguel. Oh, what's Michael Heron in Portuguese? I'm trying to find out. Anyway, back to Matty. I'm trying to find out an old school traditional water cooker. Old school. Traditional water cooker. Do you mean a kettle? That's probably the German word, isn't it? Wasserkuchen is probably German for kettle. With a whistle to put on my gas stove. You can find those. You're probably better off going to a camping place rather than a supermarket, I would say. Go to, would they have that level of camping stuff at Decathlon? Maybe try Decathlon. Have looked in several supermarkets and on the market. Yeah, the local market, you'd think they a little metal, aluminium whistling kettle. might be found at a market as well, mightn't you? Anyone bought one of those? Okay, let's see if we can help Matty out. Can't find one of those yet. A whistling kettle to go on the gas. Little 15 by 15. Is that feet? No, it's not. Is it? It's 15 by 15 meters, if you remember rightly. Meters. Because that's massive in meters. It is massive. Pete doesn't mess about. He's got one of the. You can see his solar rig from space. NASA looked twice, didn't they? The whatchamacallit, the space station was going around. I thought, what's that in Portugal? Don't worry, it's just Pete charging his Tesla. And what's that next to it? Oh, it's his saltwater swimming pool. I also have a salt pool, can highly recommend. So there you go, saltwater UV alternatives to there. And what's this? A WhatsApp pic of my current one that started to leak. My Wasserkuchen. There. Thank you for that, Matty, sending me a picture of your kettle. Honestly. Very different kind of stalker, isn't it, who wants to send you a picture of his kettle. Okay, I'm going to download that picture, and it's a beauty. That looks like a family heirloom as well, I have to say. I don't know, I mean, with aluminium, Andy would know this, whether you could repair that, get your soldering iron out. And football celebrations, Alcabasa style, yes. Going back to the earlier mention of Benfica, thank you, Pam, for this. We'll show you how people celebrate in Portugal as well this morning. Oh, that Madeiran. Before we have Karen joining us, we should play that video of Madeiran. Oh, hey, there's some Portuguese football celebrations there. That to come as well. Okay, so we'll come back. Oh, no, hold on, mate. Dad, is this dad joke? Yes, okay. Quick dad joke then before the video. Beautiful video from Louise, but not until we do this.
Warning.
Oh, no! Morning, then. I used my donor card instead of my credit card, ordering some stuff online. My God, it cost me an arm and a leg. And breaking news, another dad joke for you. The World Tongue Twister Championship is up in court today. He's expected to receive a really tough sentence. Okay. Thank you very much, Prof. Let's go to Madeira now. Love that so much. The music's beautiful, isn't it? Strings, they do something to you, don't they? I thought I was gonna have to explain to you this morning. If you're wondering why Carl's looking a little bit red-eyed this morning, it's because I was singing before the show. I was listening to Spotify and singing, and I started weeping a little bit. And I think it's strings. Strings always get me. And I was I'm a bit embarrassed to mention it now, but just in case anyone's wondering, has he got hay fever again, or is he upset about something? I was just singing, and it brought tears. My own singing, what is it like when your own singing brings tears to your eyes? Never do a karaoke with me, I suppose, is the warning there. But the strings in that video, Louise, that is so beautiful. Thank you so much for taking those pictures, for making that video and sharing it with us. And I will put it on the YouTube channel. Beautiful music, beautiful pictures. There's my data for you, folks. Isn't that lovely? The meaty meditation towards the end of the show. Deagle's birthday yesterday. Look, happy birthday. Ooh, with some nice custard tarts there. I think it's safe to say you're having a lovely time in Portugal again. How long till the next time you're here, Deagle? But yeah, great to hear that you had a lovely day yesterday. And before Karen joins us, Karen Telling, author of a couple of books, Paradise. Look, Another Day in Paradise by Karen Telling, and Our Little Piece of Paradise by Karen as well, about her life here in Portugal. Just very quickly then, when a young British couple, Karen and Nick, first took a holiday in the Algarve in Portugal, little did they know that 35 years on, they would find themselves permanent residents and much loved members of the local community. Find out more in just a little while with Karen, if we can make that connection. Oh, a re-naps. Is this a dad joke? And an anecdote. That's good, isn't it? A comma hybrid. A mother calls the police on her toddler who won't nap. When they arrive, they ask her, what are the charges? She says, resisting arrest. Someone stole all on my neighbour's grass last night. He's out there now looking forlorn. Oh, my word, Pete. I caught Gary dancing naked in front of my tractor the other morning. Hold on a minute. Okay, I asked what he was doing, and he said the marriage counsellor had said that he should do something sexy to attract her. Although we did that, but it only cost an arm and a leg, and not the sort of loss that Gary might experience. Exciting attractor there. Sorry. Okay, let's move on. Gaza, I wonder. Is that what your kettle is called? Your Wasserkucher. Here it is. It's a lovely item, I have to say. Very nice, but he needs a new one. If anyone can help Matty with a whistling kettle, the challenge is on to find him a replacement. Excellent stuff. And also then in the comments this morning, in anticipation of Karen joining us, 138 sleeps. So Digo already looking forward to his next visit till our third of 3 trips out to Portugal in 2022. Fantastic. You're pool taunting the chat, says Prof to Pete. The reason I stopped drinking, because I was living with my family and no one drinks, unlike my brother here in Dubai who loves wine. So if you're on it again, you're on the sauce again, Mo, as a result there. And I want to make sure I haven't missed anything this morning. Dad jokes, I think we've covered them all, as well as the noisy vertical. Had you packed it too tightly with your video that you sent us there, of which we can look forward to the meaty meditation at the end of the show today. This morning's meaty meditation comes to you from Brian. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Joao F is in, everyone. Do you allow me to take part in today's GMP show? Let me think about that. Sim, certo, Senor Joao. No, sorry, I'm not allowed to call you that, am I? It's a mark of respect. I don't mean to make you sound 362 years of age, as I think you said before. And James is very pleased to see you too. There you go. And yet, this is how you, going back to football celebrations, this is something that, a video that Pam captured. Rather good, I would say. And yes, this nails it, really, doesn't it? How do people celebrate a football victory in Portugal? Well, like this. Yeah, just jump in the local fountain. If your team wins, jump in the local fountain. Karen's with us and getting ready to join us on screen in just a moment. A Little Piece of Paradise, her book, and some lovely reviews for it, I have to say. Another great descriptive book, which makes you feel very involved with the animal rescues, etc. For those of you who want to get involved in animal rescue here in Portugal, cannot wait for part 3. Oh, I'm looking at the reviews of the second one. I want to go back, take you back to her first book, Another Day in Paradise. Beautiful reviews there. But actually, we could talk to a direct. Just one quick, one wafer thin review. Uplifting about the first book, Another Day in Paradise, and very readable account of the author and the husband's relocation from the UK to a place in the sun, inverted commas. Lots of amusing and true stories. Let's see if we can hear a couple of those this morning. Difficult to put down once you start reading. The mark of a good book. Beautiful story about taking chances and opening your heart to new challenges. An emotional and thought-provoking read, which will leave you wanting more. Descriptive and wonderfully written. An amazing first book for this new author, and I'm very much hoping there will be another soon to purchase. And there is a follow-up. So let's bring her onto the screen now. Karen, good morning to you. How are you?
Morning.
How's it going?
It's Fine. A little bit early for me. I'm not normally up and about this early, but
Well, it's a Good Morning Portugal show. I'm so sorry to do this to you. I do appreciate it. It's
no,
lovely. It's lovely to meet you. Olá, bom dia, alegria. Where are you? Which part of Portugal are you in this morning?
I'm in the Algarve. We're in Carvoeiro.
Oh, okay. Beautiful.
We moved it's almost 20 years ago now.
Wow.
But we started coming on holiday in the late 80s and just, fell in love with the place like so many people do.
Yeah, Carvalho, of course, where the Black and White Festival will be taking place. So you've been to one or two
Yes.
events, presumably, in the last few years.
Yeah, sadly not, for the last couple, but
Sure, yeah.
back with a bang, I think, this year on the 18th of June.
People are going to be so ready for that, aren't they? I think there might be a few sore heads in Carvalho, in the Algarve.
I think so. It does go on, I think, till about 2-3 in the morning with the DJ on the beach, and they have all sort of stands set up for food and drinks and everything. So music all over Carvoeiro. The streets are closed and stages everywhere, dancing in the streets.
Beautiful.
It's a really, big occasion it's become over the last few years. I think it's been going probably 6 or 8 years now, and every year just gets bigger and bigger. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
superb. Okay, well, take us back a bit then to when you first visited. You obviously liked it. Was it Carvalho when you first arrived?
Yeah, and it was purely by accident. A friend of my husband's had bought a place here and said to us, we've got a week free in October if you fancy it. And we thought, okay, we'd been to other places on holiday, but we'd never been to Portugal. And it happened to be in Rocha Brava in Carvoeiro. And we were only here for a week, but I remember leaving for the airport and thinking, this isn't the last time I'm going to be here. And 15 years later, we sold up in the UK and just put the dogs in the car and drove down.
Brilliant. So it's quite a long-term plan then, a strategy to come to Portugal, and you've stayed focused on that part of Portugal, have you?
We have. I mean, we visited other parts, but there's just something about Carvoeiro from the first time we came, and it hasn't changed. We're still here. We still plan to be here. We didn't think we'd come quite as early as we did. We thought we'd maybe retire here, but we were actually only in our sort of late 30s, early 40s when we came.
Yeah.
So we had to sort out work and somewhere to live, and that's kind of where the book starts, is our move. It goes back in time and talks about our holidays and what attracted us to it. Yeah. But then in 2009, I was told I needed major surgery in Lisbon. And as a consequence, I'm now disabled. But I've included that in the first book, not as a pity me thing or, how awful, but just about the amazing people we met and the kindness of strangers is the main thing. So many people went out of their way to just be amazing to us at a time when I felt, really vulnerable. And it shows people the system for the health service and how well I was treated. And I hope it gives people a bit of an insight into, if they are worried about the health situation or the medical care and things like that, it's another viewpoint on it, really.
Absolutely. Okay, everybody. Look, it's Chill Out Tuesday, I think, Karen. It's a slightly quiet morning this morning, unnervingly so, I have to say, among this lot here, the Gumpers. How about everyone saying hello and good morning and hola bon dia to Karen here in the comments, everybody? And any questions you might have, could you make a lovely point there? Oh, look, Joao F is being polite and good. Good morning, Karen Telling from Joao.
Good morning, Joao.
And so, I mean, becoming ill, sorry to hear that, in Portugal, but that would be, I mean, that's everyone's kind of worst nightmare in a way, isn't it? Is falling ill in a new country, so many things, so many unknowns, and not feeling obviously well and vulnerable. Your experience of that, obviously, it's horrible to be ill, but as you say there, you experienced the best side of humanity by the sound of it. Could you tell us a bit more about that?
There were several people that were that, like I say, just really went above and beyond what you would have expected of them. Well, one was, I don't want to give too many spoilers, but
Yes, sorry, yeah, that guys. Here I am asking you to give away the details of the book. Buy the books, folks. Okay.
One of the what I think is one of the highlights, really, of the story was a taxi driver who brought me back from the hospital in Lisbon, and he wasn't quite happy with how I was. Nick had brought some pillows and cushions and things for me for the journey home, because it was my spine that was operated on, and I couldn't sit. And this guy just went, like I say, above and beyond. He I don't want to say it all, but he made that journey so much easier for me. It was a dream, and I slept all the way back down to the Algarve, which I was in such a sort of nervous exhaustion about it all, because it worried me so much how I was going to get back home. And he just provided the solution, and without us even asking for him to do anything extra, he just did it off his own back. And there was another guy who was in hospital when I was in hospital, and I was flat on my back. I couldn't reach my food. They would bring my tray in, and it was like up here, and I was lying flat down, and he would just automatically come in and help me with whatever it was that I had to eat. And he was visiting his mum in the next bed. But he would just come in the evening for visiting, automatically wash his hands, chat away to me, chat away to his mum, cut up all my food for me, leave it where I could reach. Just lovely people.
Beautiful, beautiful. There you go. There's the Portuguese heart and soul right there for you, and a clue to why you've called, even though you've, the adversity you've obviously been through, you still called the book Another Day in Paradise, which is amazing. Oh, here we go. Look, we've woken them up, Karen. Morning, Karen. Great to see you today and to hear about all your experiences. Who's been to Carvero here in our community this morning? Let us know. Good morning, Gumpers. It's midnight here in Alaska. How about that, Karen? Still light out. Oh my goodness, summer solstice can't be far away. Incredible, Marty. Thank you for being with us this morning. Hola, bon dia from Baddie this morning. Giandis Helena Mitchell, as you can see on the screen, known to us as Baddie, saying good morning. And James, my sister's name was Karen there. So a few hellos for you this morning. Finally, thank you, everybody. And morning, Karen. From Jean there. And yes, okay, so I saw mention of a pet rescue, animal rescue. And actually, when I went to Carvero, I've been there once and had a lovely time, and I love that little beach. But I think I remember seeing a cat. Did I see a cat shelter on the street in Carvero there? What's that about? Are you involved in that?
I wasn't actually, but I'm involved in some of the rescue organisations. But yeah, because there are, it's not quite so much of a problem as it used to be, certainly when we started coming in the 80s. But there are street cats around, and there's a little wooden kind of, a little triangular igloo type of thing with little beds in it.
Yes.
And people leave, there's a little area in front of it where you can go and leave food for them. So that, I think it's to contain it, to give the cats some protection, but also to contain where people are feeding them, so that it's not sort of all over the village. But it gives them some shade and some shelter in the winter, and a little place to go. So yeah.
And that's part of your Another Day in Paradise, is it? You're also involved in taking care of animals in your locality?
Yeah, I mean, it started off accidentally. We've always been animal lovers, but mainly dog owners. We'd never had a cat. And we brought 2 dogs with us from England. And then we went into a rental to start with for the first 6 months. And this little tiny cat started coming round, and we started feeding her. And she seemed very timid, and I was terrified the dogs would hurt her. So we fed her out on a patio that was closed off. And the dogs would stare at her through the patio doors, but we were like, no way they can go out, because they'll terrify her. Until one day, as the weather got warmer, the back door was open, and she walked around the villa, and she walked into the kitchen, and she walked into the living room, and she jumped up on the sofa, and walked past the two dogs, and they didn't know what to do. They'd never been that close to a cat before. And she just sat down, started grooming herself, and that was it. She moved in, and the dogs accepted her immediately. So she was the start of it. And then two little kittens came, and one of them was very poorly. So we took him to the vet. He had to have his eye removed.
Oh, no.
We kept his little brother in with him as well for 10 days while he stitches healed. So, of course, they were ours then. And it just carried on. We found another kitten in the garden in our second rental property.
Okay. And then the donkey arrived, and the goat, and then you started building an ark. Yeah, there's an ark being built in Carvero Harbour at the moment.
It's just carried on. And over I started then bottle feeding and being asked to bottle feed abandoned kittens and puppies. And I don't know how many kittens I've done over the years. It must be 20, 30, I don't know. Wow. But I did count up as I was writing the second book, and I've bottle fed 16 abandoned puppies over the years as well. And they've all gone on to be rehomed, some in the UK, some here. And I get to hear about them sometimes, and it's great. It's hard work, but it's very satisfying when you manage to save this little tiny scrap that's
absolutely. So the found in a bin or in the gutter, or in an abandoned house, as you see. So the moral of the story here, then, if you're moving to Portugal, there's a high chance that animals will come into your life. That's true, isn't it? It happened to us. We've got two dogs that we didn't have until we came here. One of them was just turned up under a rose bush one morning, and the kids found her. It happens, doesn't it?
It does. And if you're in any way, animal orientated and have any feelings for animals at all, you can't walk past. The times that my husband has come home with a box and said, "Oh, here you are,
another one for you."
Found a puppy,
Get the bottle out. Get the bottle. What is it, a cat or a dog or something or different?
That's all I need to say to him now is, what is it? What do I need? We get a cage ready or a box ready or whatever they need, and the milk and the bottles, and I have my sort of routine, and I can just go straight into it now. Because in the beginning I was looking on YouTube, how do you do it? How do you feed them? How do you toilet them? Now it's like second nature.
Yeah, and the animal world probably knows about you as well. They gravitate towards you and your husband to be taken in, I suspect. Animals are smart like that. Bon dia, Karen from Deagle. Being so young to relocate, how did you manage with the blues, homesickness? And also, what's the name of your book? And another part of Deagle's question is, he saw your book. Is it in English? I just saw it in Portuguese. I think that was the advertising that was in Portuguese rather than the book itself. So, being so young when you relocated, how did you manage with the blues? I mean, what was your early experience like?
I was actually fine. I was always fine. My parents moved with us, and my sister and her partner were already here. Mm-hmm. So I had family and support around me. Nick found it a bit harder. He had been born and raised in the same village in the UK and left all his friends and family behind. And I do write about this in the book, about the first few months. I was thinking, great, we can have an extended holiday. We've sold the house and everything. We need to look for a house to live in. We need to buy a house. We can't go crazy, but we can have a few months of relax. And, about 6 weeks in, he was climbing the walls. Right. And I actually advertised for a friend for him. He used to play golf every week at home.
So, can you remember what the advert said?
Well, it was on. There was a Carvero chat forum way before Facebook and everything. It was literally just a sort of a chat, and I just said, we've just moved. My husband's looking for someone to play golf with, maybe once a week or something. And actually, somebody did reply. And they went and had a game of golf, and they're still friends now.
Oh, brilliant. What a lovely story.
And he was desperate to start work. Right. Where I was really happy not to be having to do that. And so again, I recount that in the book, how he decided what he was going to do, and it was a bit of a strange way he went around it. But again, he's now probably one of the best well-known people in Cabrera, because he's around all the time, he's out and about all the time. He does a lot of stuff for charity as well. He's got a van, he moves furniture around if people need it, and he buys and sells secondhand furniture and stuff like that. But he gets a lot of getting involved in a lot of the charities as well. So just about everybody knows him.
Oh, I see. I've just noticed that it's a bit slow on the uptake here. Tales from Paradise. I see what you did there, and there's
Yes.
the animal content in the book there. Lots of lovely comments and questions. Finally, everybody, it's very laid back Tuesday morning this morning here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Karen Telling is here. She is, of course, the author of Another Day in Paradise. And I'll put that on the screen for you there. Tales from Paradise there, which you can buy on Amazon, and the follow-up book, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But let's get to some of your questions, please. And I think it was a lovely comment from Jean. Yeah, always surprising about the kindness of strangers when you are in need. It is a reminder of the beauty of humanity in these times where the press mostly reminds us of the opposite. Great to hear. Yeah, absolutely right. Well said, Jean. Would you agree with that, Karen?
Yeah, and like I say, that was one of the main motives of writing the books, really, is to... I wrote the story of my surgery a year or two afterwards to keep it fresh in my mind. And really, part of it was to pay tribute to these people who I'll never see again, but I will remember for forever. And they just made such a huge impact on my life at that time. And I really wanted to get their story out to a wider sort of audience as well.
That's great, really good. Okay, I'll leave the title on the screen so that you can find that to purchase that, folks. Had you written anything before? What made you want to document it? I mean, obviously, you've told us that it's an inspiring story and you wanted to share it. But were you always going to write a book, or was it the experiences that happened that caused you to do that?
I think a bit of both. I've always liked reading. I've always read a huge amount. And I did some writing before, where I got a kind of second prize in a writing competition a few years ago. And I had all these bits of paper with notes on, and the main part of the story of my surgery. And then it was during lockdown that I came across all of these things, as we were, sorting out cupboards, and things you did when it was lockdown and there was nothing else to do. And I came across all these scribblings, and I thought, I don't know, have I got enough to put in a book? I'll have a go. And
you did.
Yeah, and talking to Nick, my husband, talking to my mum, we, pieced together some of the things, the stories of the old days and the original holidays that we had. And then, oh yeah, I remember such and such, and we used to go to that restaurant and whatever. And then when it was published, it came out in August last year. And I was really surprised. I thought that was it. I've done it, And then I got quite a few comments saying, oh, we wanted it to go on. We wanted to know more. We wanted to know how you are now. More stories about, have you collected any more animals? And I was going to just do a short bit about all of our animals, all the ones we've rescued over the years. And then bits of us kept creeping in. And I thought, okay, well, let's see if I've got enough to do another one. And hey presto, in February this year, the second one came out. Amazing. And that has a lot more animal content, but it has a lot of us in it as well. Renovations we did to the house that we bought, and trips that we've made up to Lisbon and Cascais. And then my dad was in hospital in Porto for quite a while. He had surgery for Parkinson's. Wow. And again, that's another piece of information that might be interesting to people, and a different hospital, a different system. And then sadly he died in 2016, and quite unexpectedly, and we had to arrange the funeral. And I think that's another thing that frightens people. What if someone dies here?
Yeah, absolutely.
But that is another story of absolutely fantastic care we had from the funeral director right the way through. They did everything for us. They were so kind, empathetic, but also professional and organized. And it went as well as we could possibly have expected. And I think, again, this is another thing. It's illness, it's death, it's the things that concern people if they're moving to a different country and a different culture and a different language.
Yes, so good to know. And those are the names of the books: Another Day in Paradise, and is it published tomorrow, June the 1st? Our Little Piece of Paradise. Did you say?
It came out in February.
In February, okay. Was there a
so
significant date tomorrow? Okay, sorry, my mistake. Bon dia, Carl and Karen. Lovely to hear your story, Karen. Soon to be a resident also. Carl, 42 watches and only 15 likes. Come on, you gumpers. Get them thumbs up. And a laugh from Matty and Antonio F. Yeah, and on this matter of writing in Portuguese, are you up to that yet?
I don't think so. I mean, I did pass my exam, my language exam, and I do have citizenship now.
Perfect.
But I don't think I would be up to translating it. Okay. If anyone would like to translate it, please get in touch, because I've had people ask about a Portuguese version. But I think you need a better standard of Portuguese than I have to do that. You really have to be bilingual.
Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, certainly German and French versions would be good as well. But with the
worldwide. Again, if anybody wants to contact me,
an American version, only kidding, Americans. There is a similar community cat house at the small park near our house in Sintra. So these little cat houses are quite popular by the sound of it. A cat sanctuary down below the glass lift in Albufeira with boxes for cover and rest. The amount of people who leave food added is impressive. So during quiet time food for cats. That's lovely, isn't it? A lot of people are rising to that occasion. I'm afraid I'll end up with dogs and 43 cats at some point in the future, says Matty. It's a very real possibility. Once I took one in, can't let them go elsewhere. Yeah, watch out for that. And Joao is saying hi to all the ladies this morning. I'm happy to see you in capital letters. Wow, you rascal. Dad joke, how many, just for a moment here, please, Karen, how many opticians does it take to change a light bulb? One or two? One, or, I don't get that. Do you get that?
Yeah, because they hold the thing up in front of you and say, which one can you see clearer, one or two?
Wow, okay, all right. Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you for being here, Karen, to explain that.
Only because my eyes are getting so bad. I know that one.
I should have gone to Specsavers, dad joke there. In various parts of the country, people build cat sanctuaries so they have a place to sleep. Thank you, Antonio, for that as well. Cindy B's in with the Bon Dia Gria Gumpers in late this morning. Yes, snoozing on a laid-back, chill-out Tuesday, I think, here. Pete is flashing his Portuguese there. A question for you, Karen. Was the language barrier hard at the start? Most try learning language and then dip toes into the travel. So I mean, it sounds like you're extremely competent and you're a natural by the sound of it with learning languages.
I do have an interest in languages. I used to speak French quite fluently, probably not very well now. And I used to teach English as a foreign language. So I'm kind of into the grammar and into that, the verbs and stuff. We went to some Portuguese night classes when I was in the UK, but our teacher was English. So we didn't really get the practice of the normal speed and the normal Portuguese accent, which is vital. We did learn some bits, but wasn't quite as good as it would be nowadays with, I'm talking about probably mid-90s. Now with Zoom classes and everything, it's much easier.
It's amazing, isn't it? A lot has changed in learning languages, isn't it, since the 90s?
And everything. Yeah, we were there with our books and tapes and
CDs
and CDs.
Not even CDs, well, cassettes. Wow, let's have a pencil to rewind the cassettes. Fantastic.
Exactly. And then I was really pleased when I learned Onde fica o Castelo de São Jorge, And I thought, oh, great, I can use that when I go to Portugal. And then realised that it's in Lisbon and I was in Cabrera.
Yeah.
And that wasn't really going to help me very much. So I had to substitute, farmacia or supermarché or supermercado.
Amazing. Yeah. Best laid plans and all that.
Yeah. So I practiced it so well. But when I decided to do the citizenship, I didn't go to any classes because of my disability. Now I can't sit for very long. There's no way I could have gone, and I don't drive very far now. So I just got the textbooks, bought them online from Fnac or somewhere, and did it myself, booked myself in for the exam at Faro University in the October.
Nice one. That's the A2 exam you're talking about, is it?
Sorry?
The A2, yeah. The one that you need for citizenship, yeah.
Yeah. And I thought maybe you had to be entered by a college or something, but no, you can just go on their website and enter for the exam on your own, and just studied all through the summer with past papers and things, turned up on my own, and did the exam. And it's tough, and it takes pretty much the whole day to do.
Wow.
But I did pass.
Well done. Congratulations. Jess is in as well. Bon dia a todos on this early morning. Well, it is for Jess and for Karen, as you said earlier on. Okay. Sarah's in. Bon dia, everyone. Last morning in Nazaré for a while. Great to see you. And I hope you're still speaking to me. The Exton family took them for a barbecue yesterday. Of all days in Portugal to take them for a barbecue, and they got rained on. It was just like being in England. We're getting closer to living out there, but it's really hard work and disappointments. What would your advice be to Gary? Keep his chin up, keep going.
If you want to do it, if you really have your heart set on it, you'll find a way. Yeah. And really, I'm afraid hard work and disappointments is still going to be there when you move here, because things don't go smoothly. Dealing with the bureaucracy, we all know, is difficult and mystifying at times.
Yeah.
And you just have to keep plugging away. And Another Day in Paradise it's got a double-edged sword, really, for me. It's kind of, yes, it is. And I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And I don't plan on going anywhere else. But it's also slightly ironic. Oh, another day in paradise.
Not again.
Yeah, when you're trying to get your, Mio installed, or your Wi-Fi's gone.
Yeah.
You're trying to get someone around to do some building work or whatever it is, and they never turn up, or they're late.
Just to remind them, don't you? I'm trying to live in paradise here. Do you think you could help out with that? Heaven's sake.
And these things do happen, and it's easy to get a bit bogged down in that, I think. Yeah. But if this is where you really want to be, then you will make it work.
Chin up, Gary. Keep going, mate. And look at this. From a fan, Tales from Paradise is a wonderful book from one animal lover to another. That's a nice place to round up and conclude our conversation. I hope you come back. Do please come back. 2 books, Another Day in Paradise and Our Little Piece of Paradise. Just one more question. Living with a disability in Portugal, how do you find that? Because it varies around Europe, doesn't it?
We're lucky that we have this law which allows disabled, pregnant, elderly people priority in queues and things.
Yeah.
So I have a letter from my doctor that I'm not supposed to sort of stand in queue any longer than sort of 15-20 minutes.
Okay.
I find the worst thing about Cabrera obviously is the hills.
Yes. What were you thinking?
That's not ideal if you can't walk very far, and I certainly can't walk up and down hills. But I found everyone is very amenable, actually.
Great. Good to know. Okay. Karen, lovely to talk to you this morning. Let me just show the covers of the books here so people know what they're buying. Another Day in Paradise or Our Little Piece of Paradise. Here we go. Karen, so good to talk to you this morning. There's a sequel there. And would you encourage others to journal and document their journeys as well, as a final question?
Yes, I think even if you never publish it, but if you've got it there, because you forget about so many things.
Yeah.
Once you are settled and once you have got your fiscal number and all of that thing, you forget just sort of how much of a struggle it could have been in the first place. Or like I say, the people that were really kind, and it's nice to just have a record of that to look back on, and maybe for your children or, you know, even grandchildren to look back on. It's an adventure. If you move to a different country, it's a challenge and it's an adventure. And I think it's definitely worth keeping all of that, keeping a record of all of that.
That sounds lovely. I understand the great gift from grandparents now is a NIF number to set their children up in life. So you could give your grandchild a NIF number, Portuguese NIF number, and your user manual, which is your memoirs of when you started here. Karen, so you got a key to the studio now. Come back when you write book number 3, or you've got news for us from Carvera. You're very welcome. So do come back. It's been lovely talking to you this morning.
That's been great. Thank you so much.
Have a great day in Carvera and enjoy the Black and White Festival, won't you?
Yes, looking forward to it.
Okay, ciao, até logo, até próxima, adios, and all of those 27 ways of saying goodbye in Portuguese. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye. There goes Karen telling everyone the books, Another Day in Paradise, and Our Little Piece of Paradise. Looking forward to talking to Karen again already. You can get those on Amazon. Now, that's quite an interesting segue here. It is Consumer Tuesday. We're now going to talk to Wendy, Cristina, and Sigrid. So let's bring them onto the screen. I'm sorry to mention Amazon, Wendy. Cristina and Sigrid. Consumer Tuesday. We're talking about maybe consuming a little bit less. Good morning to you all. How are you?
Good. Hello. Bon dia.
It is lovely to have you here. So, projects to tell us about. Cost of living is rising. The world is changing. I think it's fair to say that, isn't it? And the consumerism, the capitalism experiment has some mixed results. Again, I think that's a fair review. You're doing things, aren't you, around Portugal, central Portugal, I think mainly around in the Tomar area, where you're challenging the way we trade with each other, the way we swap services, the way we work with each other. I'm not exactly sure where to begin here, maybe with Wendy, because you first reached out to me to tell us about this. These ideas, there's several here. So let's start unpacking them. Wendy, where to begin?
Hi, Carl. Yeah, thanks. It was nice to meet Karen and hear what she's doing for the community by sharing her stories.
Absolutely.
Good to be here. So we 3 met at my house quite a few years ago now, before the pandemic, I think. I started hosting a swap because my garden, I mean, you've been here before, my garden's coming on. So there's quite a lot of fruit stuff coming out of my garden. Not as much as my neighbors, but people always get excess of 1 or 2 things. I mean, I'm really good at tomatoes and I don't eat them. So we started having swaps. And I mean, a swap for us is just no money involved. And that's very tempting for people to fall back on that when they bring something quite valuable. To say, well, I kind of feel like these are worth like €1 for 5 or whatever it is, you know. And for us to use this opportunity to kind of move into a new way of thinking about how much effort went into growing that, how easy was it for you? And for you to think about that, because it's up to the people that come with things to our swap to decide whether to swap and what to swap for. So they see what offers they get. I mean, you're not forced to swap, you know, there's no elbow twisting or anything like that. You bring your stuff, you lay it out, and you let people go past your table or your bench or the floor where you put a pretty carpet or something. And people chat to you about where it came from. And after the first one, it actually changed into swapping stuff. So people bring, I mean, we've had people here, Louisa brought some soap, and someone came down the hill with a barrow load, my very successful Dutch neighbors, with a barrow load of potatoes that they absolutely weren't going to eat, which they didn't even want to exchange for anything. They just wanted to give it.
A gift, yeah.
So I did that a while ago, and Sigrid absolutely loved the swaps. She's been a cornerstone of all my swaps. But I got quite sick with the COVID, so I kind of stopped having things at my house. And Sigrid said, what about the swaps? We need the swaps.
Very good. We don't want to be swapping COVID, do we? So you had to stay at home. Sigrid, good morning to you. Lovely to meet you. I guess to put this into a geographical perspective, you are all around the sort of Tomar area, Alvázora, that part of
between
Portugal.
Tomar and Ferreira, yes.
Tomar Ferreira. Thank you. Good morning to you as well, Cristina. So Sigrid, you're quite inspired by the swapping idea. Wendy, not so well with the COVID. You thought it shouldn't stop. Let's carry on. And you've grown the project, have you? And is this what we're talking about here? The Facebook group, Portugal Food Swap. That's where people can find out more about it. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Perfect. So what inspired you about it, Sigrid? Why did you roll your sleeves up and probably get your wellies on and get stuck in?
Well, the first idea was really to connect people. I think it's really important, especially at this time, not to be isolated and instead of being distanced to come together.
Yeah.
And second thing is, so years ago, I experienced this swap circus in Germany, and it worked really very good. And so I just thought, okay, let's try it here. And so what I like to do is just not to motivate the people to swap material things, but also their talents and services, so that you, for example, you can offer, if you don't have something what the other person likes to get from you, you can offer that I know you are able to cut the hair of somebody, or you will bake a cake later on, or yeah, some other things that we just come out of our box, that it is just a book and you get a t-shirt, for example. There's much more possible, and yes, I like that a lot.
Brilliant.
So a little bit like it was in the neighborhoods, always like that, and people didn't have to speak about it. And now sometimes it's still like that in the neighborhoods, but would nice to have it bigger, in a bigger scale. And therefore, we have to organize it a little bit. Yeah.
Yes, well, you make a really good point, because in many ways, this is how human beings used to be, isn't it? Until money came along and did so, and changed the game, really, didn't it? And I guess we're at the apex of how distant money can make us. From, it's been a way of protecting ourselves from each other as much as anything, hasn't it? This whole sort of money system thing and the funny effect it's on society. You've been spotted here, I think. Fiona's in this morning. Morning, Fiona. Are you ladies on Swap and Share in Central Portugal on FB? Oh, that's Fiona's group there. So I think, do you know Fiona? I think this is a good connection.
We are. Hi, Fiona.
Okay.
Nice to see you here today.
Excellent.
I'm always there, and I think you actually had a post yesterday, Fiona, from someone who's doing something very similar, but further north near Vizal. This you.
Okay, so this is growing. This phenomenon is growing.
Yeah.
Cristina, good morning to you. How do you fit into this?
Well, I think I don't remember exactly, but I think it was through Sigrid. Sigrid told me, oh, there will be a swap market, and oh, really? And I met Wendy at her home, invited by Sigrid to a swap. It was my first experience. I was a little bit confused. So what is happening here? What should I bring? I don't know. I think I brought some papers with some services I had. I was a little bit shy about how does this work? I don't know. But then I really enjoyed the atmosphere. So it was funny for me to know people. I met interesting people, and I really appreciated this connection. So next time I come again, just for the fun of the connection, and I have more ideas about what to bring for the swap.
That's brilliant. So there's a social side to it. So would you encourage people then? Because that's a thing, isn't it? I think a lot of people are very modest, possibly, and shy in this sort of situation. We're not used to it. Again, the whole money thing means you can just, you know what to do when you go into a shop. You look at the price. Yeah. If you like it, you buy it. Done and dusted. This is a different sort of scenario, isn't it? You're bringing more of yourself to the
it can be a little bit challenging. Yes. Because you need to show more of yourself. Yeah. Yes. I agree absolutely with you that money protects us against each other. You know, that if we take out this money protection, we need to go and connect and to see, and also to connect with our hearts. I mean, if someone has something to offer, and if I connect with me and with other person, I may realize, okay, maybe I have this for you, or maybe we can do that. So it involves more the heart communication and less the process, the transaction,
rationality,
money.
Right? Yeah, that's got to be good. So you would encourage people to sort of dwell on that for a moment. Hold on a minute, I am really skilled. I mean, I can do all sorts of things, and people do take it for granted, don't they? The natural skills we've got. I think we're far too modest often about that.
Yes, yeah, of course, and We have some days ago. I invited a couple of friends to go to a swap to swap market at Sigrid's last swap at Sigrid's house, and they were also a little bit shy. Well, they brought some ferramentas. How do you call that?
Hardware.
Tools.
Tools.
But good value tools. I was surprised. Wow, yeah, we just have these for swap. Okay, in that market, nobody was interested, or there was not a good match for that kind of valuable thing. And it was interesting because recently, we launched a Telegram channel to promote the swap between people. Between the physical encounters, now we have a Telegram channel, sorry. And suddenly someone was posting, "Oh, I am a informatic technician. It provides beautiful services, and I'm looking for several tools, including the ones that my friends brought to the market." And then I text them, "Look, here you have a possible swap." And I'm saying this because this friend of mine, he was a little bit shy, saying, "Oh, I don't have anything to swap. I just have this tool." And I thought, oh my God, how can you say that? He's so skilled. He has so much to do.
And then it's interesting, isn't it? And this is what's happened to us, isn't it? You know, we in this sort of marketing-led world, other people decide, don't they? And people become, or in their own minds perhaps, de-skilled, devalued. When in fact, as you say, people generally speaking, I mean, some people are far too modest, I think. And if we ever scratch the surface, it's there, isn't it?
And I think also that we need to break the ice. That's why when I saw this match, say, "Hey, here you have. Now you don't have an excuse."
Okay, so every group needs a Cristina as a sort of facilitator. I used to be shy and modest myself. I'm not going to allow anyone else to be like that in this group. Wendy, I think you were going to add something there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Carl, that's how you and I met.
That's right.
Paul was actually building shelves for me.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I mean, Paul needs a bit of income, so I give Paul some money for some of the gorgeous work he does for me. But otherwise, I mean, he sometimes stays here, I feed him. But you came for lunch and you helped to build my pantry shelves.
I did.
Carl has skills people don't know about. He's really good at that.
I build pantry shelves. Nobody knew that until this morning.
Nobody knew that about you.
Thank you. So you have the events, which are the swaps, which you started when Sigrid picked up that baton and ran with it by the sound of it, a champion of the events where you get to meet people. You're building your social circle, which I think is really important as well at the moment. But also with this incredible technology, you know, there are other alternatives to WhatsApp and Facebook. I think Telegram, you mentioned there, Signal as well. And that's a way of people saying, like Wendy, "I've got 10,000 tomatoes. Does anyone need them?" Well, you can just put that in the Telegram group, can you? And someone can respond.
Well, Sigrid actually put something very similar. What do you have at the moment, Sigrid? Lots of.
So I'm not at home. You mean that?
Yeah, the post.
So I will be not at home for 1 week, but I will have the vegetable, and so my kids can't eat them all. So I just put out that people can come and pick them up.
Oh, so, fantastic!
Yeah, it's just a way of not.
Brilliant. So more examples, please, because I remember being involved in a let scheme long ago, I think in the 90s back in England, the local economic trading system. And people have been trying to do these things for some time now. And it might be coming together because the conditions are sort of precipitating a need much more for it now. And back in those days, you know, you could get sort of intuitive mountain bike counseling and stuff like that. It seemed pretty wacky, but I mean, you're talking about food and tools here. These are very tangible things. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with a bit of intuitive mountain bike counseling from time to time, but we're talking about very tangible and real things here. And obviously with a cost of living crisis and the price of food going up, this is a really important thing that you're introducing into local communities. And I guess that's another angle. It's essentially local, isn't it? Because you're not going to have somebody driving down from the Minho to come and get a few tomatoes. It encourages local trade and connection. Who would like to talk about that?
Cristina, do you want to talk a little bit about the direction that we want to go in terms of having vouchers for things that I want to swap you something of quite high value, but at the moment you don't have enough tomatoes?
Yeah. First, I want to just comment about this connection because you said that when I see the posts in the Telegram channel, I'm always trying to, because I'm still meeting people. I'm also connecting, because most people are Sigrid's friends or Wendy's connections. I also have some friends there. I'm still meeting people. And one day someone posted, oh, I know how to knit socks, and I'm looking for trousers for my boy, for my son. And that image really touched me, because I could connect with the gift of the woman, and I could connect with the child. I really connect with the person, even if I don't know her child. I know her, the woman. And then later, another friend of mine posted, oh, I have beautiful clothes for children, for boys and for girls, and I need help. I need a hand on my vegetable garden. And I was, oh, and then I send the same post to the other girl. Look, have a look. If you see if you can go. I don't know if it's a good match, because they are not so close to each other. But is this connection really light me up?
Yes, absolutely.
But yes, regarding these we also see the need to foster this sharing further, in the way that maybe I have a valuable thing and I cannot easily find a match of swap with you, and but there is a third person that I could that have something interesting for me. So if we could circulate more these services and good among the community, it will be better. We know about LED system. That is something that we also have in mind, but I am aware of, and I am trying to experiment more about a system that is moeda libre, or free currency. It's a way of creating money that, in fact, is people that create their own money. So it's a monetary thinking, a monetary system where the money creation benefits equally everyone. So it's in fact, this was generated by a person, a French mathematician, that asked himself, how could money be created in a way that each human being will be equally benefit from it, and not just banks, or not just whatever. So how can money create?
The front page. Hold on a minute. This is a system. This is a system of exchange where everyone benefits. Why didn't we think of that before?
What? Say it again.
I mean, it is incredible, isn't it? That it's like, you know, this is news, isn't it? That money, that exchanging with each other might leave everybody in a win-win situation and better off. We're so used, and it's created a mindset, hasn't it, of like fear, I suppose. It's like not being ripped off, and someone's got to win, someone's got to lose, and I suppose you're thinking to yourself, well, it better be me that wins here. And you know, there's such a richness to what you're talking about, and I think other people are saying so here. You know, proper community, helping each other out, sharing, caring, looking after each other in a local area. If you go to let's say a corporate clothes shop, the woman you mentioned, she needs some clothes for her child. You could be forgiven for going to you know, a branded clothes outlet, buying some cheap clothes. And in the back of your mind, you know, they might have been made by a child similar to your own child's age in Bangladesh. And that's why that garment only cost €3. The cost of that is hidden a long way away, isn't it? The other side of it, what you're talking about, is you know who you're dealing with, don't you? You've grown the vegetables, and you're swapping those vegetables for the clothes that your child has grown out of. I mean, compare and contrast those two scenarios. I think I prefer the second one. I prefer what you're doing.
So I asked, for example, in the circle, if somebody has for apricot, what is staka, Cristina, in English? So like a little stick to enchata. What is enchata? Well, to make out of a peach tree, what I have, an apricot tree, and I need a little stick.
Oh, pieces for grafting, Sigrid.
Grafting. So, and already the same day I got an answer, so somebody has this stick for me. And so I still didn't receive it. But however, I know for sure that whenever I will eat an apricot from this tree, there is a story.
Yes.
Story included, you know. It's not So I could go to the garden center. Well, I'm not sure if I would get the stick, what I need. But if so, it's a dead business, There's nothing around. And now there's always a story about every swap I do. And that's so nice. It's so beautiful.
It is. That's fantastic. That's really lovely. Bit of crypto bashing here. This is the very opposite of crypto, says the prof. All about people sharing their surplus utility with each other. These women are revolutionaries. Keep your voice down. Keep your voice down, prof.
Let's make a revolution.
Yes, we already do a lot of bartering for work. We all help each other on our farms. My neighbour took my tractor wheel off yesterday for a few bottles of wine. I'm glad they did it in that order. Now, here's a swap proposition. Are you allowed to swap people? Because Pete thinks Cindy's brother should be exchanged for a roasted piglet. I don't think that's allowed, is it?
Does Cindy's brother know about that?
I don't know. We need Cindy's permission, and we need Cindy's brother's permission for that one. So, how many people are turning up for these events? And how long have you been doing them? Says Fiona.
I can jump in. We just already had people requesting to put up a kitten for adoption on the Telegram group. And we've made a decision between the three of us. I mean, it's the community's Telegram group, but we have to try and sort of put some structures in place to make it safe. We've actually just said that this swapping system is not going to include animals, live animals. There's a lot of places on Facebook and other places that you can exchange. We just don't really want to be involved in that. So I'm not sure if Cindy's brother is a live animal or if that's.
I suspect he is. We're going to say no. We're going to say no on that.
Yeah, we're going to say no. We're going to say no on that. Fiona, in the beginning, when I first had it at my house, I told my neighbors and a couple of friends, and we probably had secret about 20 people the very first swap. But already by the second swap, we had them once a month at my house. There were 35, 40 people. And I think the last one we had before the pandemic, there must have been at least 50 people wandering around my garden. Not everybody comes to swap because I think there is an education process. You come.
Yes.
And we encourage people to come to watch because you don't really know. If I bring this valuable thing that's important to me, my tomatoes that I grew with the sweat on my brow, you want to know that you're going to get something for them because that's our culture around money.
Yeah.
And then you come and you see, I mean, we always have tea and cake and we're actually changing that now. Sigrid, you can talk about the community lunch and music and all these things. But yeah, for me, it was at least 50. Sigrid, it was more last time, I think. Yeah,
and we are expecting more next time because we'll have music.
And I think you can expect. We'll come back to that in just a moment, Sigrid. That's fantastic. But look, Gary, you've got another one. Ladies, you've been right under my nose doing exactly what I've been wishing for ever since I came here. Look at that. Your answer to Gary's prayers. Fabulous work. Well done to you. And I've just downloaded the app. I hate wasting things. So another revolutionary joining your ranks. Sigrid, so tomatoes, tea and cake, and now music.
Yeah.
Go on, tell us about that.
Well, a friend of mine, he is a musician, and he will. So he asked his band if they come over, and they do, and so we'll have music after the main
local musician.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So it's going to be a party, a mixture of trade and partying. I mean, what's not to like about that? Tell us then, I mean, what you've done is great because it makes it easier for others, doesn't it? I mean, there might be people in the Algarve, up in the north saying, this sounds really great. I want to go ahead and do it. What's the first step for them to do that? I should ask you someone specifically, shouldn't I? Because you're all politely waiting for each other to answer there. Wendy, go on. What would you say as a first step?
I think for me, a lot of us know about this possibility, like Let's. I mean, I've seen Let's, I've seen transition towns doing stuff in the UK. Yeah. It's actually just a case of starting. And actually, you just need 10 friends. And I think most of us can drag 10 friends together for tea and cake at their house in someone's beautiful garden, especially now in the summer. And just try and sell this idea and let the how you do it develop from the group. Different groups might want to do it in different ways. But that's what happened for us. I just started.
I may comment that because I was not offering them. I was attending to what the swap that Wendy offered, and when I went, I really felt the open-heartedness. How open-hearted she was. And this touched me more than anything. Not the swap and all. So if you want to start. See if you have this. where is your generosity? What you could, which space you could open for community to feel welcome, and then people will start from that. Will grow. The community will grow from that.
Okay, so make a start. Put one foot in front of the other. Put the announcement out. See what happens. Make a go of it, and very likely you'll be surprised and touched by the experiences that you have. Sigrid, would you add anything to that about getting started?
Well, I just want to say that even in the pandemic time, we had a few swap markets with just very few people, maybe just 10 or something like that. But it was nice anyway. It was just a nice gathering. So it's not, of course, it's nice to have more people, but it's not depending about on a lot of people. So, yeah.
Just do it anyway. Yeah, and quality, not quantity, obviously.
Yeah. And something what is important also not to think that we have to make the swap right now in this moment, that it is something for the future. And I like that a lot because this creates even more connection. Because if I don't have something for you, you want my book, but I want your book, but you don't find something on my table. But I have in summer the tomatoes, or I can make something for you later on. And so, but for me, it's not important to get something back right now, and even not it's not necessary to have an idea right now. It's just okay. We both know, and when we create a circle that I can get something from somebody else in the group, even better. So there's really a lot of potential in it.
That's right, potential and transformational power. Because I guess if you're just thinking of having the same values but making it a swap instead of a trade and using money, that's not really the point, is it? The point is that in endeavoring to expand your scope, open your heart, as you said, Cristina, to what's possible here.
I have a beautiful story if you still have time.
Of course.
May I?
Always time for a beautiful story. Go on.
I had a beautiful story with Sigrid, because we started this Telegram channel, and Sigrid made the first post, and I was first client of her. So we inaugurated a channel like that. And she gave me some peas, some plants, and some seeds. And I was asking her, okay, but how should we agree this swap? What do you need? What should I give you? And I was feeling that I need to feel that I have something to give back. For me, it's important to feel that I have something, that the other person could receive something from me. Yes. And if not, it hurts me. So I was telling her that, and she said, okay, I hear that, but I need some time. I just want to stay with this, that I gave you, staying with this experience of swap. So I gave you this and enjoy this taste until I have clarity of what could be the swap. And then, okay. And the day after, she said, oh, I have an idea. But I was even sad that I didn't want to have the idea already, because I was enjoying so much this connection.
Yes.
And she had a beautiful idea that I could not have by myself, because she needs some help with Portuguese. I'm Portuguese, she's not. And so I may support her with a specific Portuguese learning. And I was, but really touched me this feeling of her. Oh, I didn't want to have the idea already. I wanted to taste more this connection.
That's beautiful. That really is. And you touched on something there as well, about the need. We have us human beings seem to have a natural need to exchange, don't we? And be in communication with each other. And I understand what James is saying here. I sometimes imagine a world where everything is free. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. And we love that sentiment. But it's not just about making everything free, is it? It's about connection, I suppose. It's as much about connection and going there in the way that you described, Cristina, about, okay, so what does this mean to me? And how do I connect with that person? And all sorts of other things are possible by taking away that money shorthand and that rather cynical place we've got to with just straightforward financial trading. We're going into a much richer and deeper picture. And I suppose what's free here is the freedom that brings. Because you make a really interesting point about how, somebody gives something and then they want to reciprocate, don't they? So can you tell us more about that and what's occurred with that in your group? Any of you that goes to.
Well, I don't know go, Wendy.
I think we all have stories. We actually had the three of us had a planning meeting, and we were talking about it's going to be a fair amount of work going forward, I imagine, because we've got all these projects we're thinking of. Yeah. And so we just did a little bit of quick, more sort of formal corporate strategizing, talking about how, why we're involved, why we're doing this. Am I getting a lot of feedback, Carl?
No, we can hear you. It's good.
Okay. And I think all of us are in it for the community benefits, for ourselves to be part of a bigger community, for the community to grow. And the Cristina story about Sigrid reminds me of a swap that happened here. I have outbuildings that I haven't used yet. I think this is true for most of us who buy old farms in Portugal. And someone had left some furniture. Someone has a van, a friend of ours, a mutual friend, Carl, had found stuff on the side of the road that was simply too good to leave there. So they'd stored it in my outbuildings. And someone came to a swap, and that person said, well, I'm going to swap this stuff that I found for nothing. And they got a generator out of it because the person who needed the furniture had a generator they weren't using, and the furniture seemed so valuable, and the generator wasn't of any use to them. So I would have held on to the generator and tried to sell it on the market.
Yes.
This person actually got this furniture, which he saw. I mean, it was old Portuguese furniture with wood arms, beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
He got that for nothing because he had the generator. And there's that switch that happens in your head to say the generator is not worth $100. It's worth this wonderful value of this sofa and 2 chairs that I'm going to enjoy so much. Yes. It's a really fair exchange, even though the furniture is nothing.
No, totally understand that. Rebel Mum has got a great question here. Do your Portuguese neighbours join in with? Sorry, I'm keeping you past 10 o'clock. Are we all right for a few more minutes? Great. Okay. Do your Portuguese neighbours join in with the swaps, or is it mostly the English-speaking immigrants? How do you reach out in a mostly Portuguese-speaking small village? I imagine this could work very well locally. What's your experience of this?
So this was in the beginning really a challenge because I feel quite integrated in this village, but still it could be that if I make this event that the Portuguese people are a little bit distant, I think. This is something for the foreigners, they meet there and we are not participating. So I invited them personally, but not a lot of them came. Maybe I would say the last time it were 80 or even more % were foreigners. So this time, through this friend of mine who's a musician, he's Portuguese and he is even more integrated, of course. And I think he will bring a lot of Portuguese people. And I think this is always really so important to right in the beginning now, when it is the second time at my place, at least, to get them to participate. Yeah.
Excellent.
I think it will change for sure.
Yeah. And I wonder what's going to be on the playlist. Like Money Can't Buy Me Love, Money, That's What I Want. There's a great playlist opportunity for your friend there. Cristina, were you going to add something there?
Yeah, I will. I was adding that this is for the physical encounters, for the physical meetings, and for the Telegram channel, we are making all the announcements bilingual. So Portuguese is mandatory, and person can also add a translation to English or whatever language, but keep the anchor in Portuguese to honor and welcome the locals.
Brilliant. Muito obrigado for that, Cristina. That's fantastic. And folks, use the Expats Portugal forum. Start a thread if you want to reach out to our 10,000 plus community and your community segment, niche and geographical niche. Do it at Expats Portugal /community. Last couple of comments then. It's been a lovely conversation this morning. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry to hide you for a minute there. I recently found out about a national movement called something like Buy Nothing or Buy No More, where neighbourhoods organise essentially a garage sale day where everything is free. Love it, says James. Watch out for one of those in early Sarah then. And also we had a take one and or leave one table at our weekly neighbourhood farmers market in LA. That's a nice touch, isn't it?
Oh, nice.
Perhaps people could do that here at their local farmers market as well. Rebel Mama, well versed in this culture as well. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. Then maybe some, what I've forgotten to ask you, or things that people need to know. We've talked about how to start a group up. What parting thoughts then on this revolutionary act that we're committing this morning?
Our next swap at Sigrid's house is on the 12th of June. And there'll be information on the Facebook group and the Telegram group, and we even have WhatsApp if someone wants to reach out.
Oh, that's really kind. Thank you very much, Wendy. Sorry, go on, Sigrid.
Beginning at 9:30.
9:30. Anything else you want to add, Sigrid?
No, I think.
Come and enjoy the swaps and the music.
Yeah, and Cristina, what about you?
I just want to mention that an important point for me is that free. It's not free. Free is not this having everything for free. For me, is relating with connection. The point you made earlier. Yeah. It's not free that I can take whatever I want. No, this is disconnected anyway. This is another way of disconnection and of robbery even. So it's how we connect and we have a fair exchange and awareness in the exchange, or human awareness in our exchanges.
I got it. And there's a sense of expansion with that, isn't there? And I think alternicity is here, sometimes called the reciprocity principle. Thank you for that. And we're talking, we're not talking about, I guess, taking anything away from anybody, are we? Quite the opposite. We're talking about adding. The phrase added value is so horrible now, isn't it? Because it's been so wrongly appropriated. But you are adding value. You're expanding things, aren't you, between people? There's a lot of where money has helped us hide.
You can add love.
Yes, you're adding love to the mix. And as much as marketers want to say that with their PR and their marketing strategies, we know what you're doing is a much real and more authentic way of doing that than these corporations can ever come up with. So thank you. The revolutionaries who've been with me this morning. Just like Karen, you're welcome to come back. Do let us know when things are happening, developing, and you have a key to the studio to come back and tell us whatever you need to tell us when you need to tell us it.
Thanks, Carl.
Thank you.
All right. Ciao for now.
Nice to be here.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah, muito prazer, até logo. Ciao, ciao. I have to take you off the screen one by one there. So bye, Wendy. Ciao, ciao. Bye, Cristina. Ciao, ciao. And Sigrid, thank you so much. Have a great next swap and meetup. Lots of comments I think I've missed this morning, but I've got to get a last few dad jokes in. And the meaty meditation, as promised by Brian. Bon dia todos from Ubi. Ubi's in, as is Johnny as well. Bon dia. How's your shoulder? Bon dia, queridas, senhoras. Boa idea. Oh, they missed that. I think maybe Wendy and Sigrid can still see that in the green room. Pode legalmente organizar mercado swap como este. Is it legal? Is the question being asked. So that's an interesting one. I don't know the answer to that, but we can ask them that next time they're on. And boa sorte, senhoras, from the prof as well. What's this from Rebel Mama? I worked for 20 years with kids whose families spoke another language in their homes. They rarely spoke their home language to their parents, but elsewhere. But they understood. I think that's about holding on to your native language and maybe learning the language of your new place. I'm not sure. I missed the beginning of that. According to Air Help, Lisbon's airport is the worst among 132 world airports, says Antonio F. Passenger's opinion, I believe. Porto's airport comes close. My experience of Humberto Delgado is really good. I do like Lisbon airport, but I haven't traveled for quite a while now. I think things may have changed a little bit. The government, yes, Wendy, coming back on the legality of this, yes, the government has a time banking program. So it would look like the government is supportive in principle. But, governments are often behind people, aren't they, in terms chronologically? People will innovate socially, and then the government will think, what are we supposed to do about that? They don't quite know, but they will. I'm sure they'll catch up eventually, and that'll be an interesting conversation to have with local government. I imagine that with the way that local Portuguese politics works, it could work really, really well. The worst case scenario, of course, is centralized government, stamping down and saying, no, you can't do that. But locally, it could be really wonderful at freguesia level, I think, and with local politicians really understanding this. I do really like that about local Portuguese politics. I think that could work well. What's the app they spoke of? That'll be Telegram. And there's a movement, Dute se viers buscar, where people give away what they no longer need in their local community. It's happening, folks. This is very exciting, isn't it? And thank you to Pam for that from Rebel Mama. Good morning to you, Rebel Mama, by the way. I'm not sure we've said hello this morning. App is Telegram. And let me just put that in one more time then. Gary's very satisfied, I think, on this. It used to be called Consumer Tuesday. I think we might call it Consume Less Tuesday, certainly for today. There's the app that you need, Rebel Mama. I'm going to say goodbye at that point, and we'll be with Michael Heron in the morning. Miguel, I can't remember what Heron is in Portuguese, but whatever it is, Miguel Heronius Maximus will be with us in the morning. Looking forward to that. And I'll say goodbye to you for now. Stay tuned to the end if you want a meaty and meditative moment. Vegetarians and vegans need not stay for that part of the show. You've been amazing. What a lovely show we've had this morning. I will see you in the morning. Ciao for now.